what's up, my book friends? How is everyone doing? I'm trying to put on a brave face because I'm kind of sad in this video. I was kind of dreading sitting down to film it because it's the last book in the trilogy by one of my favorite authors, and I always hate when those series come to an end. I get so invested, and I did get invested in this one for sure. I always get a little melancholy when I start that last book in the series. For this, it was the third book because it's a trilogy. The book we're going to talk about today is Deliver Us from Evil by Monica James. The first two books were Thy Kingdom Come and then Into Temptation, and now we have Deliver Us from Evil. We see a theme there going. I will of course include in the description box below my videos on the other two books, and also, as always, keep in mind that this is the third book, so you might get spoilers if you haven't read the other two books. It's never my intention to give spoilers, so just keep that in mind. So let's get to talking about Punky. Oh my god, Punky. He really, by this book, had my heart, and he just never let go throughout this whole book. The book picks up right where the last book left off, and that was not in a great place. So I was prepared for that. What I wasn't completely prepared for was the shift in Punky in this book. He softens, maybe that's not the right word, but I'm having trouble. He definitely, and I felt in the second book, he loves the people that he loves, and he is so loyal to them. He spent 10 years in prison to be away, to take the fall for his loved ones. And this was a little different, this third book. So, you know, he's been out of prison. We know that from the second book. But this was a more emotional Punky in this book, and that kind of took me aback. And that helped me connect with him on an even deeper level. Not that I needed it to, because I loved him and I love Camilla. I love their relationship. Well, I mean, how they came together, you know, that's a little stressful, right? But there was a softness to him in this book that surprised me. Right out of the gate, I felt the difference in him, and this is what he says. I've lost my friends. One I murdered, the others see me as nothing but a monster. I pushed my family aside in fear of them getting hurt, and I let down the only person who ever believed in me. Baby Doll trusted me, and in return, she paid with her freedom. I don't know where she is. I don't know if she's alive. All I know is that my father, Sean Kelly, has the answer, which is why I'm forced to live this way, his prisoner. Until I get those answers, I'm at his mercy, which is why I refuse to show any. See, do you feel that there with him? He's resigned to his fate. Not that, see, I was gonna say he gives up, but he's not a quitter. He just has come to the point where he's so tired of the fight. And the thing with how he was going against Sean previously and the environment that they're in with being the drug lords in Ireland is wearing on him. And to the point where he feels like no matter where he turns, either someone he loves gets hurt or they die, sometimes at his own hand. Oh my God. And he doesn't want that anymore. I thought it was really poignant to see how he started to look at things. And he was resigned to the fate, and he kind of gave up a little bit, but all it took was like one spark, and it shifted his way of looking at things, and he saw a different path. Something that I thought was really interesting about this book was the theme of choice and having choices, making choices. He has to make some really serious and devastating and horrible choices. He has had to make some really serious choices. He has yet to make choices that he knows he has to make. And I really liked how Monica brought that in as far as character development and where he was. Because this is, again, he's in his younger 30s, late 20s, younger 30s at this point. Think about how different we are at that point in our lives. And when we look back to our late teen, early 20s, how different we are. And I thought it was very interesting how choices really came to be in this book. And everybody's choices. Very much a game of chess. And, Sean, what a scumbag. And like the lowest of the low. And ew, Sean was really hard for me. He basically has Punky by the balls. And Punky really can't do anything about it. He has to do what Sean tells him to keep Baby Doll safe. Punky is so low, and I got really worried about him, especially when he said this. That mask and the horror it reflects is who I now am. I've never felt more connected to it than I do now, and I know that's because sooner or later, that face will replace my own. I will be the monster that mask represents. No, I didn't want him to succumb to that. I understand why he used it and why he used it when he used it. I felt him changing and not in a good way, and I got really nervous. Early on, you feel that tipping point in him, and you know something has to give. But I had no idea where Monica was going to take us. I mean, what are the options? What are the choices? There didn't seem to be many. I loved that we got chapters from Cammie's perspective, and she's like, she doesn't know, she feels low as well. She has no idea why she's being kept where she is, who the people are that are keeping her there. She's pissed. She's got her spunk, but she's really low as well. Interesting that the person who walks in and is able to give Punky hope, it is the last person I expected to see walk into this book. And when he walked in, I was like, oh, but he's the perfect person. All I'm gonna say is that it's a previous character and he fits right in. He is a character that I did not really like, but when he walked in, I couldn't believe it, that I was like, oh, he's actually the person that can help. I was really surprised, but then like, okay, good, he's here. He's the right guy for the job. Thank God he has good people still in his corner. He has a couple other characters from the previous book that we met that are still in his corner. And then of course, you know, his best friend and his brother and his sister and Cammie's sister. So there's good people in his corner, but he doesn't want to lose anyone else. And he worries that every step they take towards taking Sean down, he's gonna lose one of them. He has a breaking point with Kian, and I worried because I thought, oh my gosh, are people gonna start falling away? And then he's gonna be by himself. This is between Kian and Punky. Okay, and remember that the way Monica writes is phonetic to what their accent would be as Irish characters. So I'm gonna embellish a little bit, but you'll get the point. You selfish asshole, he snarls. This isn't just about you. You get to live your happily ever after, but what about everyone else? We're expected to pick up the pieces, is that it? Sometimes we have to sacrifice our happiness for what's right. And losing 10 years of my life wasn't enough, I pose, tossing the joint to the ground. What more do you want? I want my best friend back, he replies, looking at me like nothing but a stranger. The man who stood out in a crowd, not blended in. Go live your happy life then. Turn your back on the men who have sacrificed so much for you, for our fathers. I don't know who you are anymore. He walks to his car, leaving me with an injury I never saw coming. I knew he wouldn't like my decision, but I thought he'd accept it. But it seems I was wrong. By gaining my freedom, I'll lose my best friend. I'll lose the man I once was. Jumping into my truck, I send Baby Doll a message, making sure she and Shay are all right. She replies a moment later that they're fine. I should get back, but suddenly I feel like I can't breathe. I need to drive. All the weight that is on his shoulders, and you feel that so much with Monica's writing. Not only was my heart in my throat a lot in this book, but I also had moments where I was tearing up and crying because there was some really tender moments between Punky and Cammy that touched my heart, and I just wanted the best for them. I wanted them to have their happily ever after, and I didn't see how that was going to happen. This was one of those moments. I was a mess. She pales, taken aback by my outburst, but I can't help it. I feel like I'm losing myself piece by piece. When I didn't know where you were, I confess, begging she believes me. When I didn't know if you were dead or alive, I wanted to effing end it. I wanted to give up. It was the first time in my life that I ever felt helpless. And that's what you make me. I am helpless without you. You own me, Camilla. I am nothing without you. I know everything is effed up. I know you probably wish you'd never met me. If I could change that, I would. I want you to live a normal life away from this, away from me. I'm so effing sorry that this happened. I wish I could change it, but I can't, and I don't know how to fix it. I've never felt more helpless in my entire life. Oh my God. And it goes on a little bit more from there, but almost any one of their interactions, I was teary because I wanted them to be able to be together. I wanted them to ride off into the sunset after everything they had been through. I have really enjoyed this series and the darker turn that Monica took with the series. I love that she's done this, and I kind of can't wait for more. And I liken it to how I felt about the All the Pretty Things trilogy, which then went on to, spin off 2 more books. And of course, I will include those in the description box below. I connected so much with Saint and Willow. And even though the story was, nothing I've ever experienced, their love story I adored. And I really felt like this as well in the Deliver Us from Evil trilogy. I love Punky and Cammy's story. Punky was different for me. And the harsh underworld where this takes place, I love how she wrote these books. And yes, there is a happily ever after at the end. Yay! Let me know if you have read any of the books in the Deliver Us from Evil trilogy or your favorite Monica James books from her huge backlist. She's written so many amazing books, and I cannot wait to read what she releases next. As always, I thank you for giving the video a thumbs up and subscribing. When you do that, it will help this video get shown to more people here on YouTube. You know I always love when you come and say hello to me over on my social media, which is Kat Reads Romance on Facebook, Instagram, and also TikTok. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye!